California is beginning to recover after two major earthquakes hit the Golden State. It happened in the desert town of Ridgecrest, which is about 150 miles north of Los Angeles. The second earthquake struck with a magnitude of 7.1 and was the strongest California has seen in 20 years. More than 4,000 aftershocks have hit the area since. Those could be felt hundreds of miles away. Carter Evans is outside a home in Ridgecrest. Carter, I mean, I think I talked to you last week shortly after several aftershocks. I cannot imagine what the damage is looking like now.
Well, you know, this is kind of what it's looking like. You can see how this wall is collapsed against the home here. Overall, though, things in Ridgecrest have pretty much returned to normal. Power is back on, water's back on, roads are clear. Though scientists say people living here can expect to be rattled by aftershocks for a very long time. After living through something like this, the shock for residents in and around Ridgecrest still hasn't worn off. How are you feeling?
Still nervous. It hasn't settled. Every time the ground starts shaking, the mind goes back.
All of these people up here are here for you today.
At a town hall Sunday, local officials tried to reassure the shaken community with the steps they're taking.
PTSD is a real thing. And we're all suffering from it right now. We have teams coming in that will help us with that.
Friday night's powerful 7.1 earthquake rocked the desert town, sending items flying off store shelves and people scrambling.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
When the 7.1 quake struck, brick chimneys just didn't stand a chance. They crumbled. This one went right through the roof of the home.
When the chimney fell and all those bricks broke with the joists.
Marilyn McKee was inside. Her husband spent Sunday trying to prevent any more damage from aftershocks. So that's why you're getting all this stuff off the roof now.
So it doesn't end up on the floor of the kitchen. This was so awakening to what an earthquake can really do.
Flavio Montez and his family are so rattled, they've decided to sleep outside of a Red Cross shelter.
We ended up coming out here because my kids wouldn't, every time a little shake would happen, they just started panicking.
His daughter and her friends say it'll be a while before they're ready to return home. Do you feel safer out here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because nothing's going to fall on us. Yeah.
After two major earthquakes, authorities call it a miracle. Nobody was killed or seriously injured.
We were built and constructed and planned under earthquake precautionary measures.
And you think that made a difference?
I know it did.
Man, I cannot imagine how uneasy people are. You know, I heard the bite where they talked about PTSD. Of course, there's aftershocks still happening. Do we have any idea how long it will be before the people of Ridgecrest can sort of feel at ease, feel like there will not be another aftershock that's imminent?
Well, that's going to be a long time. And I can tell you, even for us, myself and the crew here, every time we feel one of those aftershocks, you wonder, is this going to keep going? Is this the next one? And I think that's what everybody's going through in this town. As we get further away from this earthquake, the magnitude of these aftershocks is diminishing. The problem is they're going to last for some time. In fact, seismologists say aftershocks could be shaking this area for years, though many of them will be undetectable. So there, I guess, is some silver lining in that.
But, you know, some of these homes and buildings sustained damage, so I imagine they're weaker, obviously, now than they were just last week, and therefore more susceptible to even more damage.
Well, you know, they have been going around checking the buildings that have been damaged in this case. Some of them have been red tagged, unsafe for human occupation. But they're checking the structural integrity, and for the most part, things are looking pretty good here, which is surprising because these are two very large earthquakes. And had they occurred right underneath an area that was really populated, we'd be talking about a much different story.
So let us talk about that, because this was a fair distance from L.A., even though it was, you know, this aftershock was felt as far away as, I think, Las Vegas, but it was still a great distance from a heavily populated area. How bad would it have been if it was a little bit closer to Los Angeles?
Well, you know, seismologists shudder to think how bad it would have been. If there were an earthquake like this centered right underneath Los Angeles, we'd be talking about casualties, we'd be talking about significant damage, we'd be talking about billions of dollars in losses.
Yes, indeed. Carter Evans, thank you so much.